Nasser Hospital is the only functioning hospital left in the south of Gaza. On the morning of the 25th of August, it was targeted by the Israeli military, and then again, less than 10 minutes later. That's a tactic known as a double tap, and it's widely regarded as a war crime. Speaking to the Security Council, the Palestinian envoy to the United Nations, Riyad Mansour, claimed it was no accident that Israel had attacked twice.
The second strike on Nasser's hospital was a premeditated strike on medics and journalists who arrived at the scene after the first strike. This is not a war. These are atrocities committed against an entire civilian population.
At around 9 minutes past 10 a.m. local time, the first Israeli strike hit a camera on top of the Nasser hospital. That is the hospital's 4th floor. Hussam al-Masri, who worked as a cameraman for Reuters, died in this strike. Over the past few months, multiple journalists have been seen filming in the same location. It was a spot that was frequently used by media workers as a hub for internet connectivity, taking advantage of the strong signal to upload material and maintain communications. Medics and other journalists could be seen rushing to the scene to help after that first explosion. Then, around 8 minutes later, at 10:17 a.m, a second Israeli strike hits the same area. This was all captured on the Al-Qad TV live stream. This video, filmed from the ground, shows a projectile travelling towards the hospital and then hitting the top of the hospital stairs. Milliseconds later, a second projectile hits the hospital, meters away from where the building was first struck. Analysis from the defence intelligence company Janes says that the video shows precision-guided missiles fired from either a helicopter or else multiple tanks. The journalists killed in this strike were Mariam Abu Daka, a freelancer for the Associated Press and other outlets, Mohammed Salama, who worked for Al Jazeera, Moaz Abu Taha, a freelance journalist who worked with several news organisations including Reuters, and Ahmed Abu Aziz. In total, 22 people were killed, including other medics and health workers. Data from Air Wars, which monitors civilian harm, indicates that so-called double tap strikes have been happening in Gaza since the start of the conflict, so this isn't something new.
The level of intensity of the bombardment is just not the same. I mean, we can't talk about it even in the same sort of breath as other conflicts that we've seen in the last 10, 20 years. I mean, this aerial campaign where it's multiple incidents a day, multiple residential buildings. I mean, it's the nature of that campaign is just so different that when you start to even dig into things like double taps or even patterns of attacks on aid distribution, anything, I mean, you're looking at something that is just simply incomparable in terms of scale and intensity.
The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday called the incident a tragic mishap. The Israeli military has confirmed that its troops did attack Nasser Hospital and claims they targeted an observation camera being used to track IDF movements. The camera on the roof was struck, but it was actually being operated from a journalist from the news agency Reuters and was broadcasting a live stream at the time.
When the hospital was struck the first time, it was journalist Hussam al-Masri who was targeted and killed. He was the only one on that floor in that moment.
The camera was not newly installed. It had been positioned there earlier by our colleague to live stream events in Khan Yunis.
The IDF said the journalist wasn't a target. They named 6 so-called terrorists killed in this attack, including a man called Omar Abu Taim. We've seen evidence that he fought against Israeli troops, but our evidence suggests he may have died days earlier. When asked by Sky News, the IDF did not explain why they struck the building a second time during rescue efforts. Nasser Hospital told us it categorically rejects these claims and any claims made by Israeli authorities to justify attacks on hospital premises.